Well, welcome back to EU Sports.
Back again?
So soon?
So we knew you couldn't stay away.
You missed us, didn't you?
Because we missed you.
It's true.
Welcome back. We are so happy you are here. I'm here with my beautiful friend, Caitlin. I cut you off.
It's okay. I wanted you to cut me off. I actually preferred that.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And I'm here with my gorgeous friend and co-host, Spencer.
What are we talking about today, Caitlin?
Okay, well, so
Tell us.
First of all, last episode we yapped your brains out
Sure
about
did.
basketball, and we ended up talking or not talking about a few teams that we really wanted to get to that have had some really good moves made or not really good moves made or whatever. So we kind of wanted to finish trade talks and off-season talks and everything like that to just get to the rest of those important teams. And then we're going to talk some USA versus Canada basketball.
Some Olympic preview.
Yes.
We're going to do a little blip on just some of the standouts of Summer League so far. It's obviously going to keep evolving and people are going to be better than other people as Vegas goes on. Some of our friends are in Vegas for Summer League right now covering. So
love that.
We're here.
Yeah. We're here talking to you while they do the fun stuff.
I wish I was.
Except this is actually very fun. Please don't think that I don't think this is fun.
No, we're having a blast.
Fantastic. So the first thing that I want to bring up maybe has to do with the shirt that I accidentally wore today.
Do you like the Wizards?
I do. I know that's a really odd choice. One thing you'll learn about me is that I love every team. Okay. It bugs some people, but I really do love basketball so much. And if you make me watch more than 5 games in a row of one team and I start looking into their players and their team and the way that they play basketball and stuff like that, I unfortunately become obsessed and I just add them to my team roster. Yeah, it's really bad. I love it all. I love it so much. And so last year when Jordan Poole got traded to the Washington Wizards from the Warriors, I started watching the Wizards so that I could watch him. He's my favorite player ever. Do not at me. And I had so much fun watching him and watching a really shitty team. Love you, Wizards. But they were obviously not great last season at all. And I had a lot of fun watching them and deciding what I think that they should do to get better and, seeing what moves that they made. Obviously, they got rid of their head coach mid-season.
He's out. Out of there.
Yes. And then their
he was shown the door.
Yes. Their interim head coach is actually now their actual head coach. So that's really cool. I really like the choice. But they've done quite a bit this offseason. I was not really sure. I mean, this is my first off-season loving the Wizards. Yeah. And so it's been really fun to watch what they've done and see how they handle that. And the biggest thing is they traded away one of my favorite guys on the team, Edey.
I was so confused.
Yeah.
When I opened up Twitter and saw that news.
And I think he's been with them since he was drafted. So for 4 years, Edey has been with them. And he had such a good improvement this season.
He was the only player that I really heard about when I actually went to the game this year when the Wizards played the Nuggets.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, I was there.
You saw my man.
I sure did. And he was the only player that I had been kind of told about going into it to watch because he, I obviously don't take much time out of my season to watch the Wizards when I can watch other teams. Sorry, Caitlin. But yeah, he was a standout on their team. So I was very confused. It seemed that he was one of their best pieces. So it seemed to me, I was assuming that they would try and start building, kind of keeping him there and helping fill the spots around him. But they did not.
Yeah, they didn't. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, between him and Corey Kispert and obviously Jordan Poole. They just got Bagley last year and a few other guys and stuff. They're a really good young roster who was kind of starting to figure it out towards the end of the season a little bit more than they would have. Obviously, they were really going for a high pick in the draft, or I guess a low pick in the draft. But they ended up getting the second pick in the draft, which was Alexander Sarr, which was great.
I'm very excited about that.
Yes, but and that's so random. It's funny that I brought that up because part of the Edey trade, when Edey got traded to the Blazers, he actually got traded for Malcolm Brogdon and another draft pick, which ended up being Bub Carrington. And so although I'm really going to miss Denny, I love him and I will watch him on the Blazers and I will be so proud of him. He's so sweet. I think I kind of like this choice for the Wizards because with Malcolm Brogdon, like the Wizards have been a very young team.
Yeah.
Like a very young team for like the last couple of years. And so getting someone like Malcolm Brogdon, he's not like super old, but you do get like kind of like that veteran presence, and he's a really great small forward. So I think that's like a really good kind of trade. And then obviously you got another awesome pick in Bub Carrington, which I think will be really great for them in the coming years as well. So I liked that. And then the Wizards also picked up Jonas Valanciunas.
Another good pickup.
Another really good pickup. They got him from the Pelicans, and again, another really nice like veteran presence, a little bit of, I wouldn't say they don't have championship experience, but playoff experience and everything like that. So
being on a decent team, a team that wins more than it loses.
Exactly, yes. And so I think that he was another really great pickup for him. I'm not really sure what they're going to do with Jonas Valanciunas and Alexander Sarr because they are both centers, and Alexander Sarr is obviously like a fantastic pickup, being the second pick in the draft, and he's just been really crushing it. And he's a really great player, and I think he'll be a really great piece of their team. But
I'm excited to watch him this year. Another French boy. The French Revolution was the theme of that draft.
Yes,
I feel like.
My goodness, the last couple of years, a ton of really amazing French players. So good for them. These are baguettes that I like, unlike Rudy Gobert. No offense, sorry.
Yeah, we don't like. He's burnt French toast. I
like that burnt French toast.
He's
That's
burnt
cute.
French toast,
That's
especially against Nikola Jokic.
Yeah, especially then.
Nikola
or Draymond Green.
Expose that man.
Draymond Green just choked him out. Okay. But so they got obviously Alexander Sarr, Bub Carrington, and then they also got Keyshawn George later in the draft, which he'll be like a really good young piece as well. He'll probably play with like Patrick Baldwin Jr. and be like on the, I don't know, deep end of the bench and everything. And he'll probably play in the G League a little bit for, just some extra playing time and for some experience. But overall, I mean, I know it's really weird, but like after waiving Landry Shamet and Tyus Jones being an unrestricted free agent, I have a feeling that they're going to let go of Tyus Jones. If they don't, that's a really silly choice. Do you hear me, Washington Wizards? Are you listening? You don't need 4 point guards. Thank you.
You don't?
Not always. You're not like the Denver Broncos who like to have like 6 quarterbacks and hate them all. Sorry. But yes, so I think that they have actually gotten better this year. I'm really excited to see what, thank you.
Not great, but better.
Yes, better.
Improvement.
I don't think that they are going to be the worst team in the league this year, especially if they get rid of Tyus and Jordan Poole is on ball.
We will get into that.
Yeah. If Jordan Poole is on ball.
You're going to have a happy Caitlin.
It'll be like my favorite thing in the entire world. I love watching point guard Jordan Poole. I'm sorry. Okay. We're going to cut that. We're not actually going to cut it like out of this episode, but I'm going to stop talking about it before I like start
take up the entire episode talking about
a little bit. Yeah, because I will. But while we're talking about the Wizards, I'll talk about the Blazers real quick, just because that has to do with, them getting Denny and stuff. Blazers were one of the worst teams in the league again this year.
I did not care about them.
Yeah,
even in the slightest.
Yeah, they just didn't do much. Obviously, you had Scoot Henderson, which a lot of people put like a lot of pressure on him. Like obviously he was huge for the G League Ignite, and people were like, "Oh, it's going to be like him versus Wemby." And he dropped off pretty quickly. Like they quickly realized that he wasn't what we all thought he was going to be.
I think I always say he looks like. He plays like someone whose name is Scoot, and I don't really have a further explanation to that.
For sure.
Yeah, no further explanation necessary. Just
no,
he does
not needed at all. With that, you have Scoot, and I think that with like the pressure of Rookie of the Year probably coming off of him a little bit, I think that he'll be able to, free himself a little bit, play a little bit better.
Yeah.
And then they obviously got Denny. I think that as obviously Denny was on a really crappy team too, he is a great player and he made a lot of really good leaps. So I think that he'll be awesome for the Blazers this year. And then if Rob Williams comes back healthy, he is a fantastic center. And I think
they have a lot of people on that team. Yes. Anthony Simons, Shaedon Sharpe.
Yep.
Yeah. And then if he comes back healthy, you have
DeAndre Ayton.
Yes, they have DeAndre Ayton. So
You'll
they
see,
have
I
the
have
opportunity.
I have kind of like a bold take about Portland, and I'll say it now because you'll see it in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And I hate myself for this. Okay, don't judge me. I love to be optimistic about shitty teams. Like it really keeps me going every day.
Everyone loves an underdog.
Yes, I do. And I'm like, I love an underdog. Like really love an underdog.
I used to get so mad. My dad, if a team football, because we always watch football together, was playing that he didn't care about or whatever, and we were watching football together, he always rooted for the underdog. And I'm like, Dad, why are you always like picking the losing teams? That sucks. Like,
there's nothing better to me.
Now, as I'm older, of course, the Denver Nuggets are really good now. They weren't always, but now that's how I feel when I'm watching a team I don't care about. I'm like, come on, little guys. I'm like, you can do it.
Oh my gosh. When we were watching the Pistons.
Yeah, there were when the Pistons played the Celtics and it went into overtime. Oh, I was like, and I felt so bad for Cade. I'm sorry, I shamelessly love the save Cade tweets.
Me too.
Because Cade is just so amazing, and he looks, when I watch him, he looks so tired. He looks tired from carrying the team on his back. So God bless Cade. I'm rooting for Cade. I hope the Pistons do better. And I often said, even though the Pistons had the worst record or whatever, they were often so close. And this is not to dig at your Wizards, but when they lost, it was like by a lot.
Yeah.
And it felt, that was my take, was that I thought the Pistons were better than the Wizards because they were so close.
It was the Pistons and the Wizards. I called it the battle of asketball to see who could be worse. I know Kyle Kuzma tweeted it and then jinxed it for the Wizards that season, but he was like, at this point, it's just like no one wants to be that team. The Wizards became that team.
I was living for that because I found that tweet and I was like, huh? What was that?
What was that?
Say it a little louder, Kyle Kuzma.
A lot of people did. He jinxed them for sure.
Yeah, he should have waited until
Yes, but
after the game.
That's like I said. I have like going back to the Blazers. I have this like unwavering. I know.
We just rambled.
So sorry, besties.
Okay.
I have this unwavering like optimism with like I always think everyone can be better, and I love the idea of bad things like or bad teams being better and getting better. And so I think that the Blazers are going to be the 10 seed in the West and will make the play-in. I don't think that they're going to win any games in the play-in. But yes, so either way, I think while they're not going to be fantastic teams, I think that both the Wizards and the Blazers kind of came out winners with that Denny trade and just in the offseason. I think that they both have improved their rosters, especially with the Blazers getting Donovan Clingan from UConn. He is a fantastic dunker, fantastic center. Great on defense.
I love dunks.
Yes. And he's such a great player. And I think that on a team with someone like Anthony Simons and Scoot Henderson and a lot of other like younger guys, he really has the opportunity to like grow and be really good. So that's I wouldn't call it really like a hot take because I don't really do hot takes with like, saying mean things about people, but I call it a bold take. That's my bold take is that Blazers hit 10 seed in the West. While we're wrapping up with the trades and kind of like, random Western Conference teams that are getting better and just trades in general, because there is an Eastern Conference
trading things around.
Yes, there is an Eastern Conference team that has done a couple of things.
What they're doing.
Yeah. You want to tell us a little bit about the Atlanta Hawks?
Sure do. Atlanta trades DeJounte Murray to the Pelicans for Dyson Daniels, Larry Nance Jr., a 2025 first-round pick, and a 2027 first-round pick. So they trade DeJounte Murray, and everyone kind of knew that they were shopping around Murray and Trae Young to see what they were doing. And I think they honestly might still be shopping around Trae Young to tank. I think
they are. Yeah. Well, and not even just so much to tank, but obviously there's like they have a little bit of animosity as well. Yes, go big words. They have a little bit of animosity as well between Trae Young and the front office and coaching staff and stuff. They had all that drama.
Well, I was confused on what Atlanta is doing. Are they tanking? Are they rebuilding? I mean, because they tried to center everything around Trae Young, and he's only 25, and his efficiency has taken a dive in the past 2 seasons. So I don't think he reached the ceiling that they wanted him to reach. Yep. And he's among one of the league's worst defenders, and he's also
nice.
A very annoying foul grifter. If you've ever watched a game with Trae Young, it's very annoying. And so, yeah, it's a potential for the Hawks to do a whole reset, rebuild. Who knows if they give away Trey. They got the number 1 pick in Risa Shea. So Trey could still get them some valuable assets if they ship him off. But yeah, at first I would have traded Trey before I traded DeJounte Murray. But yeah, so he's with the Pelicans.
I love DeJounte Murray.
Yeah. So he averaged a career high this past season, 22.5 points, 6.4 assists, and 5.3 rebounds this past season. So he had a good season.
I love him. Yep.
Pelicans needed someone kind of in the backcourt with CJ McCollum.
Yep.
And now that DeJounte is there, McCollum can go back to his preferred role of shooting guard, and Murray can have the ball in his hands, which he is a much better facilitator, which is with the ball in his hands, which is what he did with the Spurs. He actually averaged 9 assists a game with the Spurs.
That's
so
awesome.
He has great court vision. So this is a good trade. While we were talking about this earlier, that the Pelicans don't have much of a bench, it does add another scoring threat for the Pelicans, for Zion, CJ, and DeJounte.
And CJ McCollum only having to worry about scoring and just kind of being that partner for DeJounte Murray.
Less facilitation, less pressure. I think
he'll do well.
I think they're still confused on if Brandon Ingram's gonna stay. They haven't.
Well, they've been shopping Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum.
I think there's a reason because I don't think
McCollum
anyone
now.
really wants Brandon Ingram.
Yeah,
but
I wanted my Warriors to get him for a while, but I just wanted them to get anyone actually, so it doesn't matter. And I was just honestly, bring James Wiseman back. Who cares?
Who even cares? But yeah, so Murray's 3-point volume and efficiency will be really helpful for the Pelicans. They were 24th in 3-point attempts. Denver was 29th. I'm not shocked. And the Lakers were 30. That kind of shocked me. So that was a space that they needed filling. He can score off the dribble and facilitate at a really high level. So I think it's a really good pickup for them. I don't think we said this before about other teams. I don't think it solves all their problems.
Yeah.
I definitely think that we saw what not having a deep bench does. Denver. I think it really shows, in my opinion, in the playoffs. So
absolutely it does. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he has a good defensive value. He's 6'5" with a 6'10" wingspan. So
okay, Mom.
Yeah. So it's hard for opposing guards on the perimeter. I love DeJounte Murray. So that's why I'm hyping him up out here. And then
it's a huge loss for Atlanta, by the way.
So he's joining Herb Jones, who's an all defensive forward. So I think I'll be excited to kind of watch and see how he does and fits in with the team.
Yeah, they have a fantastic starting 5. I will not lie. With Zion and everything like that, with Zion, Ingram, DeJounte Murray, and CJ McCollum. And
Herb Jones.
They
did lose. We were talking
Valanciunas and Larry Nance. And so those are 2 big losses for them as well, especially now that they don't really have a bench. But they do have a really great starting 5. So I'll be really interested to see if they add any additional pieces to their bench.
You can get far-ish with a really great starting 5. I mean, I thought Denver for a while had the best starting 5, especially the season that we won. Absolutely. But we had those important veteran and bench players that were experienced, like Ish Smith and Uncle Jeff, and Bruce Brown came off. So I think bench is very, very important, and I know everyone in the Nuggets nation understands after this past season kind of how.
Well, in the year that the Nuggets won, that was actually the Warriors' problem. The Warriors had the best starting 5 in the NBA. They were playing incredible. No bench. They had no bench. You can only get so far.
So
with
even though
a
those
wonderful
guys
starting 5
might be the backups, they're more important than we realize, I think.
Yep, I agree.
But yeah, so Pelicans are coming off a season 6th best defense in the league. So now that they have DeJounte, they've got someone that
another great perimeter defender.
He's not someone who plays no defense, which is great. So he will fit in well. And another scoring person, which is what they needed.
And the Hawks are going to be booty.
They're going to be so bad.
Sorry to all the Hawks fans out there.
Especially if they lose Trae Young. It's
for
over.
Sure. Yeah.
Are there Atlanta fans? Are people a fan of that team? So that kind of wraps up the rest of the trade talks that I don't think we got to in our first episode. Yeah. And then quickly, I just wanted to chat, just because obviously we were talking about we're not too deep into summer league yet. It's kind of kicking off this week.
Well, there was actually real quick. There was the California Classic this week that my Golden State Warriors won. I would just like to say that real quick.
Go Warriors.
Yeah, go Warriors. And the only reason that they won is because they had probably Pods and TJD on their team who quite literally like played some fantastic basketball
Did they
in the
play some
NBA all
sexy
season.
basketball?
They always do. But like having them on like your summer league team is just like so funny to me. I feel like it's like so unfair because pods like literally started for the Warriors. Like, all season.
He's one of the people. I'm sorry, Caitlin, on my list of players that make me mad just to look at, and I don't really again have a further explanation on that. I have a very long list on Twitter. I'll probably retweet it soon because I just think it's good to have around. but he's on there. Austin Reeves is on there. Dylan Brooks is on there. Dario Saric was on there, and then Denver got him. So awkward. But yeah, speaking of summer league, Zach Edey had an amazing debut and now is in the favorites on the betting apps to win. He's on Rookie of the Year watch already. So he was drafted 9th overall to the Grizzlies.
And that was I think that was way sooner than they thought he would be drafted. People thought it was a really weird pick, but I love it. I love that pick.
I'm so excited to see him with Ja because Ja's supposed to be back.
Same.
And he's a fantastic screener. And I know that that's something that people are like, well, yeah, he's a center. Not every center is a good screener. So it's an underrated skill to point out. He's a fantastic screener. He played for Purdue. He's a 2-time college national player of the year. He's 7'4".
Did you know I got to see him in person and he's way bigger?
No way.
Shout out to my buccos. You guys will know. I have this group on Twitter and they're all like my little UConn friends and stuff like that. And they all traveled from like the Northeast to come down and watch the Final Four with UConn and Purdue and all that stuff. And I got to go to that game and see Zach Edey in person, and he's ginormous. He's a lot of fun to watch.
He is very fun to watch. I watched him during March Madness, one of my favorite times of year. But in his debut, he got 14 points, 15 rebounds, and 4 blocks in 34 minutes.
Insanity.
Which I know is Summer League, and some people think Summer League is just a ridiculous thing to base off of, but that's ridiculous. And
fantastic stat line.
I don't care if it's in the summer, but yeah. So
doesn't matter the time of year.
So since the Grizzlies traded away Steven Adams, he has a shot obviously at getting in the starting lineup. I think
to Jaren Jackson Jr.
It's gonna be. Listen,
I'll really like that. Really like that.
Everyone was making fun of me on Twitter because they said Caitlin's rubbing off on me, but I usually do not root for anyone else in the Western Conference besides Denver Nuggets. But I'm just very enthusiastic about the Memphis Grizzlies.
I like every team in the NBA, and it's annoying.
If they play against the Nuggets, I will be very, upset if the Nuggets lose. So that's how that works. But when they are not playing the Nuggets, I will be rooting for them in their games. Sorry. And if that makes you mad, don't know what to tell you. So
if that makes them mad, then they just should literally cut me out of their brain.
Then maybe you should turn off the video now because Caitlin and I are both those people. So since trading away Steven Adams, he has a shot at sliding into the starting lineup, like Chet did. And, Chet had an amazing season. So I'm kind of hoping for the same thing. Zach Edey's a little more sturdy than Chet. He's
a little beefier.
And so he took over the odds on the Rookie of the Year on the betting sites from Alexander Sarr. So he's close.
I love it less.
Never mind. Closely trailed by Risa Shea. So the thing that most people are saying is he's obviously not going to be able to post up every trip down the floor like in college when you're playing against much smaller people, a much smaller, pool. And so I'm going to be interested. He's 7'4" in college, so I'm sure things came to him much easier playing. But now he's going to be entering the NBA with, people like Wemby and Rudy, a lot of tall fellas, a lot of tall guys. So I'm interested to see how he does kind of, with the next step going into the NBA. It'll be interesting.
I agree. It'll be fun. I have a lot of draftees that I'm really excited to watch.
So I'm excited to watch him. We're going to keep watching the summer league stuff and keep trying to update you all. But we watched a game together, which was so exciting because if you didn't watch the first episode, Caitlin does not live in Denver. Boo.
Tomato.
But she's been here for quite a while. And so we got to watch the USA-Canada game with our friend Julia. Hello, Julia. And
we love you.
We watched over in the sad part of my apartment that isn't being occupied by the set.
Go check out our MTV Cribs and you'll see.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun for the USA, America. It was not a lot of fun for Team Canada.
Actually, the first 6 minutes of the game were probably great for Team Canada when the score was 12-1.
And then it all went downhill.
Yeah, it got pretty bad.
Caitlin, Team USA looked so dominant. They looked really good after that
first 6 minutes. Yeah.
This was the first of 5 exhibitions until the Olympics, and I will say all these teams have only been playing together for a week. So
yeah, they haven't been practicing
we have to take that game take that game with a grain of salt, obviously, because they're not used to playing together. So there's a lot of people that are gonna, I'm sure, improve once they kind of learn how each other plays. Anthony Davis, double-double
in what, 4 blocks? Monster
13 points,
defense.
11 rebounds, and 4 blocks. Yeah. Monster game. He looked so good.
He did.
I don't really have anything bad to say about Anthony Davis. Ant, full of energy. He got 13 points. My note originally during the game was everyone is eating. Everyone,
snacks.
Nom. Everyone, I hated that.
You have to keep it in though. I liked it enough to keep it forever. So.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow! I need to pretend I didn't do that. Erase that from your memory. So everyone was killing it on Team USA. Drew Holiday, 11 points. Steph Curry, 12 points.
Drew Holiday was also a monster on defense. I think he had 3 blocks too. He was just in the first half, he only had 2 points, and the 2 points that he had in the first half was the Steph Curry behind the back assist to the little Drew Holiday layup.
That was hot.
Let me tell you, I love sexy basketball. I literally wrote on the top, sexy basketball, because
sexy basketball
it hypes me up so much. I'm so sorry to your neighbors, because I literally was sitting on her couch like this, kicking my feet in the air, screeching. I literally was like,
I was on FaceTime for 10 minutes of the first quarter, and you just hear Caitlin hitting
I'm
things.
Literally screaming and kicking. I just get so excited.
I have to go.
I get so excited. It was so good. I love good basketball.
Yeah, Bam had 7 rebounds. I think the story with Team USA is, while a lot of other countries have some of our NBA players, they don't have the bench. As we,
I'm sorry, Team USA's bench is quite literally a group of all-stars. What is every other country supposed to do?
Their second unit was Anthony Davis, Bam, and Jason Tatum and Tyrese Halliburton, and their plus-minus was either plus 10 or better. Mm-hmm. So they killed it. Bam had 7 rebounds. Mm-hmm. Everyone was doing their part. Mm-hmm. On, Team USA. Team Canada, I'm speechless.
This is just my thought on Team Canada. While we were watching, it's so hard to say, but when you give me a roster, if you gave me Team Canada's roster, which is a lot of NBA players, you have Jamal Murray, RJ Barrett, Lou Dort, and Shea, SGA. You have
Kelly Olynyk,
Trey Lyles, and everything like that. You have a lot of good NBA players, but you don't have the same Team USA roster.
You don't have the size. They're small.
Yes,
they're
much
all
smaller.
Small.
Absolutely. And if you would have showed me the Canada roster and told me that RJ Barrett and Kelly Olynyk were going to be the leading scorers, I would have giggled for an hour.
I would have said stop.
Yeah, because I said, you have Jamal Murray, who was literally a number 2 option on a championship team last year, just made it to round 2 of the playoffs. You have SGA, who was the the point guard,
the MVP runner-up.
Yeah, MVP runner-up, number 1 option on the first seed in the West all season. Fantastic player, and both he and Jamal just didn't show up.
Shea and Jamal combined for 15 points. Mm-hmm. Jamal only had 5 on 3 of 12 shooting.
Yeah, it was
not
rough.
an efficient night. Jamal Murray was 1 of 5 from 3.
Yeah, it was rough.
We'll get into this a little We'll get into this a little later. I have some Jamal concerns, and I can tell in his attitude. They did some interviews. They were asking about his extension with the Nuggets.
Yeah.
I think everyone knows that he has very poor attitude with the media.
Yeah.
And I'm very hard on him about that because I think it's really rude. But he, again, was being very sassy and kind of being rude about the extension. So I'm kind of curious about that, wondering what's happening.
I mean, I guess like the biggest thing for me with Jamal and like the post game and stuff like that is like, I could not imagine like after him having the playoffs that he did, he had a really rough 2 rounds of the playoffs this year. He really struggled. Obviously, he made some incredible, literal, like game-changing shots.
Yes.
He literally had 2 game winners.
Jamal Murray made a shot.
Yes, he made the shot twice.
And he did it again.
Yeah, exactly. And so obviously he had some huge shots and a lot of like big plays for them. But overall, his playoff experience or his playoff performance was pretty poor. No offense, I think he's a fantastic player, but he just didn't show up in the playoffs. And so I think
I'm very hard on him.
Yeah.
Just because he's obviously someone that's looking to get a max extension, and he didn't play like that this past season. He was injured, and then he came back, and it was weird. He's not used to playing with Team Canada, I believe. He's not usually super involved. I mean, last summer he was going to and then didn't play with them.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of like Shea's team usually. So I don't know if they just need to figure out how to work together. I mean, obviously making the shots you put up.
They just need to play well. And so I think, but I think that's part of the reason he was probably so pissed off is because he was like reamed during the playoffs.
He's always sassy, but I think, getting asked, I guess, about your contract extension after you just continue another shitty game is interesting. And then Nickeil Alexander-Walker seemed kind of like he was dribbling the air out of the ball a little bit, which he doesn't do on the Wolves. Maybe they got
he played great for the Wolves
short leash on the Wolves. Yeah, he did great defense. So that's why I was confused on why he was trying to think he was Steph Curry. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of Steph Curry, can we hop over to that real quick? I need to say this. Him and LeBron James. So first of all, I think the Team USA is the closest we're ever going to get to one last rodeo with my Western themed calendar.
Yeah.
Because that's like almost exactly what I want is like this team together. And Steph and LeBron proved to me exactly why. And LeBron and like having Steph, LeBron,
so
and
fun
AD.
to watch.
Yes, like just, oh my gosh, it was the one thing that I love about Steph Curry, and a lot of people hate on Steph Curry, and he's obviously like a big topic of conversation and like the GOAT or the greatest shooter of all time and blah, blah, blah. And there's a lot of really big Steph Curry fans. There's also a lot of really big Steph Curry haters. Yeah. But for me with Steph Curry,
not on this podcast.
No, for me with Steph Curry, and this is for all the Steph Curry haters out there. One of the best thing about one of the best things I love about Steph Curry is that not only is he a fantastic basketball player, but like he exudes joy when he plays basketball. Like he is fun.
He's so
and he is happy.
fun to watch.
And like, he's a performer, an entertainer.
Yeah.
And I love watching him with LeBron because now that LeBron is freaking 40 years old or whatever, like he's the exact same way too. Like watching them together, like the Steph lob to LeBron.
They're just having fun. They're just having fun out there.
So good. And it's
the
just
boys.
Like, the boys. I love them. And they were all like, you could tell like there were so many of them with just like giant smiles on their faces.
Yeah.
Like they were having fun getting to play on a team with like all these other all-stars and all these other incredible like NBA players. Like, and
They're
loved
stacked.
that. They had so much fun and like they make it fun to watch. Like when you have these incredible players and you have Steph Curry just toss up lobs to freaking LeBron James, like is so that fun. Not the prettiest? Like that is so everything that a basketball fan could ever hope for. And like same thing, like LeBron threw up a lob to AD and it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Like I just love that. I love when like players like play well and also exude joy. Like there are some people that play and they're just like so unhappy like all the time.
They look miserable.
Yeah, there's some people that just like look so unhappy to be there, and I get it. Like basketball is a really serious like sport and it's a very competitive sport. So some people are like that, but I really love when you have players like Steph, like LeBron, like that can really bring joy to a game and make it so fun to watch.
Speaking of people that don't exude joy when they play basketball, Dylan Brooks is. That's it. That's it. That's the tweet.
I put Dylan Brooks with Dylan Brooks antics,
and I have Dylan Brooks doing what he does best. Side note, why is Dylan Brooks always sliding across the floor? He's always on the ground. He's either staring at someone or on the ground. I don't know. I think he has problems. He scares me. I'm so glad he's on Team Canada and not Team USA because I don't want to watch him.
He's like the kind of person that like I would try to fix. I would like try to befriend him.
Yes, so I didn't have much on Dylan Brooks's performance. I just don't particularly enjoy him. My other note kind of about Team USA was obviously you have Jason, Drew, and now Derek White playing.
I love that.
They obviously played late into June because they just won a championship. Now they're playing for the Olympics. So championship and Olympic hangover maybe incoming. Who knows?
That's a long like regular season because you have preseason, regular season, and then a full
postseason.
A full postseason, and then you go straight into the Olympics like a couple weeks later. That's a lot. It's
a lot, and that's just kind of something I'm gonna keep my eye on at the beginning of next season. They might be tired. Yeah. Luckily they're not too old on that team. And then we had Mr. Joel Embiid. Why is he playing for Team USA? Is he ring chasing, Kayla?
I don't even think that's like ring chasing. I think he wants to be able to
medal
say that
chasing. He's won something,
right?
Anything.
That's what I'm saying. Is like part of me wonders, and this is like
I know that's so mean.
I'm not even trying to like be an asshole about it, but like that's part of. Well, yeah, and like I totally
only with Embiid though. I promise I'm really nice, but I really I try and be big and strong about Embiid. I just after that performance, I can't do it.
No, obviously he five fouls in 12 minutes is rough sauce.
Embiid free throw. We turn on the game and immediately Embiid at the free throw line. Embiid fouled out in 12 minutes, 4 turnovers and 2 buckets.
Yeah, rough game.
He tried to draw fouls in an exhibition game on Dwight Powell, which felt really dumb. Yeah, so Embiid had a really rough game. I think he looked so bad. All he did was do his hold the ball. He doesn't even dribble. He just does his try and
Have I ever seen him dribble?
I don't think so. And I think Embiid is not good with other players or not good with other good players. He's used to being on the 70s. So I am so interested if he's healthy this season to see how he does having PG. Well, I feel like Tyrese Maxey had his leap when Joel Embiid wasn't really in the game. So that's it's not a bold take, but I just don't think he doesn't play well with others. I think he plays well when it's just him and all he gets to do is just stay by draw fouls and staying in the paint the whole game. But when you have LeBron and Steph and AD and Ant and Jason Tatum, I don't know, everybody.
Well, and not only
he doesn't play well with others.
Yeah, and not only those other players that he's playing with, but he's playing with a lot of really healthy, athletic, in shape players, and
he just looked bad.
Yeah, it was a rough game for him. And speaking of him though, which I thought this was really funny. This has to do with Dwight Powell. Mm-hmm. The play where he elbowed Dwight Powell on accident.
On accident, Joel Embiid is a dirty player.
Okay, but this was on accident, and it was a barely tap to Dwight Powell's chin. And Dwight Powell, one of my biggest pet peeves is when
I thought he was trying to I thought he was foul grifting, but
okay, maybe he was, but either way,
I don't like Dwight Powell either. So yeah, continue.
Yes, all I'm saying is that this play from them made me it drove me nuts because one of my biggest pet peeves is when players will act angry about the foul for 10 minutes after because it wasn't called anything crazy. I think
it's so annoying.
It is, and it wasn't called anything crazy. Like I said, he he had his elbows. Ow, Jesus! He had his elbows. He goes up and his elbow hits Dwight Powell's chin. Okay, and Dwight Powell's throws himself back it was the worst thing that's ever happened to him.
There's nothing like a good NBA foul acting performance.
Oh my gosh, literally. And like I said, it went on for 10 minutes after. And so he's sitting there and the refs didn't call anything crazy. And Dwight Powell's ugh.
Oh, they throw a hissy fit?
Yes. And he was just he just kept having to act he was so angry.
Jamal did that with
I can't even imagine my chin. And then they put that little thing up to Dwight Powell's chin. I'm when did he start bleeding? 10 minutes after the foul? I'm so confused.
That's what Jamal did that for a second after during one of the plays that Drew Holiday totally bossed him.
Yeah.
And he was like waving his arms around. I'm like, Jamal, you're doing bad. So you can't, if you're playing good, I don't know.
I love a good player that like can take a hit and then just like keep freaking playing. Cause like, God forbid you're playing a literal professional physical game of basketball.
Yeah.
You're gonna get hit on accident or on purpose. Who cares?
Nothing that pisses me off more than when someone does not get back on defense because they are
they're complaining to the
too
refs.
busy. It's over. It's already over.
Yeah, and I'm like, you're just wasting time.
They're not going to blow the whistle now.
Yeah.
So why?
Can we actually go back and recall that?
Can you?
No,
it's
we
not
can't.
happening. So that is, I say that all the time. And when
That was my Luka pet peeve last year.
Yes. Oh, my mom texted me during the finals this year. She goes, love Luka. And I know he's Jokic's buddy.
I love her.
Buddy. But she goes, does anyone else notice that he complains a lot? It was one of those things where I wish everyone on NBA Twitter was like, yes,
Yeah.
we all know. So yes, there's nothing I hate more. And when I rewatched the Nuggets title run, I noticed, to me, because the Nuggets in general don't get a lot of calls, and I think they've kind of realized that at this point and gotten used to it.
Yeah.
And so in the year that we won, it was very obvious to me that other teams spent a lot of times whining when you get into the playoffs and there less fouls are called. And I think that was part of the reasons the Nuggets were stronger, and they knew that we weren't getting those calls anyway, and you can't let it affect your headspace, and you just have to get back on defense.
Yep.
And so a lot of other teams, I spent watching people on the ground with their arms up while the other team's already at the basket.
Yes. And while we're talking about that too, like the thing that drives me crazy too is that like you have a player who thinks that they got fouled, and so then everyone else is going back and everything like that to the other end of the court, and that player's sitting there complaining. But like if they were to commit the same foul on the other end and it gets called, then they're like, oh, that wasn't a foul. I'm like, then why were you bitching about it?
Then
like
why were you
ago?
literally crying? Let it go.
Yes. I'm like, my
Let it
thing
go.
is like, it's a physical game. Like it's basketball. It's a physical game. There's
Calls are
going to be
sometimes not
contact.
and some calls are not going to get called. Not every
Human error
is not perfect.
Yes.
So I understand it gets frustrating when you feel you're constantly getting fouled, but get your ass back on defense, please. So that was a really long way to say that Joel Embiid did not have a good game, and that the bench was obviously one of the stars for Team USA is just stacked. I'm going to be interested to see how Team Canada does after playing together a little longer. It'll be interesting. I'm praying that that the first exhibition game was just Jamal having not maybe played in a little bit, because it was bad.
It was a rough game for him. I made a note and I thought this was really funny because it was actually true. Through 3 quarters, Team USA had lost more shoes off of their feet than Jamal made shots in the game. I think Team USA had lost 3 shoes, and Jamal had made 2 shots. So I thought that was a really funny statistic that I made up myself. I didn't make it up, but like,
so
I did that.
And Team Canada, it was just funny. RJ Barrett took over. Kelly Olynyk had a good shooting efficiency night. So it was just interesting. Is Jamal anymore? I hate to be that person, and a lot of people are mean to me on Twitter because I'm hard on Jamal, and I'm not saying that I'm not trying. I feel that I'm allowed to call a player out when I have seen how good they are. Yeah. And he was so amazing during our title run. Yeah, it's tough love, and I just know how good he can be, and he was just so fantastic for us. And obviously, he's one of the most clutch people, in my opinion. You know, you want him taking those last shots. Yeah. So it was just really hard watching him in the playoffs this year, and then I was kind of hoping, you know, for the Nuggets' sake, that we would open up. And even though it's just a silly exhibition, it's the first time, it's just one of those where it's like, oh no, now I'm still worried.
Play well.
So I don't know what's happening. And I feel I'm not in his head and I don't know him, but it does look as if he's getting into his head a little bit. And I think that's why he's kind of mean to the media after. And I'm sure when you're someone who wants a max contract extension and you're not playing how you usually play, I'm sure that's really hard. And I mean, everyone knows the stories that his dad's a really tough person on him.
Yeah.
He's like one of the people that's, at every single game and talks to him at every timeout and things. So, I think he just has a lot of pressure to be who he was when we won the title. So I hope he figures it out for the Nuggets' sake.
Me too. The Nuggets are not the Nuggets when they're not like the best version of the Nuggets when Jamal Murray's not playing his best basketball.
And then,
either.
in my opinion, it throws everything out of line and everyone else is worse. And he's usually that person that Coach Malone looks to help run that bench unit. So when he's not playing well and we don't have an old bench or deep bench, it's all very bad. So, yes. So how he played did nothing to assuage my concerns.
I'm so sorry
about the Nuggets next season.
It is pretty bad. I think that sports in general are such a mental game, and I think that every team in the NBA, while they might have like sports like therapists and psychologists and stuff like that, there are like specific sports psychologists that work on performance psychology and stuff like that. And so I just think that like people get in their heads so much, and they need like coping mechanisms to get out of their head to be able to play their best brand of basketball, because I think when you're overthinking it so much and putting so much pressure on yourself,
it's even worse.
You start playing worse. Yeah. And so I think that like you really need to work with like those psychologists and get yourself like out of your own head and just like back to doing what you do best. You're in the NBA because you are the best of the best.
And I think you have to compartmentalize a lot. One of our players that did a great job of that during our first round was Michael Porter Jr. He had a lot. So he had a lot going on with his brothers, and you would have never known by the way he played in that first series, and he did phenomenal. So I think,
and he like upheld himself really well.
He held himself really well. He was very respectful to the media, which is very nice to see.
We love that.
We love when people are respectful to people just doing their jobs.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure some people are better at compartmentalizing than others. I can't imagine. I'm not an NBA player, so I can't imagine having
the pressure,
a really bad postseason, and then trying to get out of that and reminding myself I am good at what I do. I am in the NBA. I just won a championship. Things like that. Yeah. So, Caitlin and I we are big advocates for mental health and therapy and all those things.
That's actually one thing. I'm just going to throw this in here real quick. That's actually one thing. If we get to have guests in the future, and if we get so blessed, God willing, to have athletes on here that we get to talk with and interview in the future, that's actually one thing that we've talked about that we would really like to do, is actually talk with every single athlete about their mental health and what they do to keep themselves just
going
up and going every single day, because there's a lot of pressure, and obviously especially with men's sports. Men have a little bit more of like a stigma with mental health and everything like that, especially being big old athletes. You're
strong
supposed
man.
to be, you're supposed to be strong and blah, blah, blah. But like,
you can't talk about things that make you sad.
Yeah, we really, really, really want to bring light to the issue of mental health and men's mental health as well. Just on top of that, and kind of what that looks like in sports, and how these awesome athletes are able to just get themselves through the season, get themselves through
bad
off
things
season,
happen,
and how they,
people get sick, family members get sick. So, it's really impressive, how well they actually, it's a long season. They play a lot of games. Yeah. They're away from their families. So,
it's something that we really want to bring light to and talk about, and make sure that we end the stigma, because mental health is important, and it is something that we need to talk about more and make it feel normal, so that people don't need to hide it.
Yeah. So that was kind of our thoughts on, the USA-Canada game. We kind of took notes throughout the game. Yeah. And I did some research. Obviously, there are a lot of countries, if you didn't know. And
what?
Yes, I just found out that it's not just America. It's not just North America. There's more teams than Canada and USA. So there's a lot of good teams, and there's a lot of NBA players playing not on Team USA, like Nikola Jokic, go Serbia. And, the French, they got Rudy Gobert, and they have Wemby.
And Bilal Koulibaly, who is my Wizards boy.
So I wanted to do kind of like a quick rundown, just a little preview of some of the other teams. Kind of everyone is kind of expecting the USA, it's their game to lose, just because while you have amazing people like Nikola Jokic on other teams, they obviously don't have the bench depth that Team USA has, which is just chocked full of all-stars.
Team USA just has their all-star week. That's their all-star week roster.
Yeah, so France is actually the biggest wild card. So they're returning most of the team that won runner-up in the 2020 Olympics.
Which Germany won that year, didn't they?
I believe so. And they're adding Wemby. And so Rudy and Wemby is quite the center lineup, if I do say so myself. So they're kind of up in the air. Serbia has Nikola Jokic, my president, my religion. Just kidding, Mom. Don't be mad at me for saying that.
Sorry, Mom, love you.
I'm just kidding. So Serbia has Nikola Jokic.
Need I say more?
Need I say more? They also have Bogdanovic. Wow, you know what? You're just gonna have to take that as good as it's gonna get.
You know who she's talking.
You know, and he's one of the NBA's best sharpshooters. So Serbia has a pretty decent starting five, but they don't really have a bench. Again, we're talking. This is the bench episode.
Benches are important.
Yes, benches are important.
Benches help win championships.
They do. Greece is similar to Serbia, so they're relying on Giannis. And this is the first time that Greece has qualified for the Olympics since 2008.
Wow, good for them.
So they're not deep teams, but they do have some chemistry. 8 of the players on their roster play for one of the 2 Greek EuroLeague teams.
That's cool.
So they have, so they've got that experience. We know that the power of friendship is very important, like the Knicks. So they have a 7'1" center in Georgios Papagiannis.
I'm gonna love this part of the episode. Just listening to you try to pronounce all their names.
I'm trying so hard. Germany are the reigning FIBA World Cup winners. So they have Mo Wagner, Franz Wagner, and Daniel Theis. Is that how did I say that right? Theis? Yeah. Daniel Theis.
Is Dennis Schroeder playing this year?
Yeah. So they have a big EuroLeague star, Johannes Voigtmann. Sure, this is going to be everyone's favorite part of the episode, watching me butcher all these people's names. I am so sorry, not that any of them will be watching this. And then, they have Dennis Schroeder on the team. So they've got some people on their team. Australia doesn't have any superstars, but they have a lot of depth from the NBA talent. Yeah, so they have Dyson Daniels, Josh Giddey, Dante Exum, Josh Green, Joe Ingles, Jock Landale, Patty Mills, Johnny Furphy, Duop Reith, and Matisse Thybulle. So they're, they're deep. Australia. I didn't realize how many Australian people we had in the NBA, honestly, until I was looking up all of the NBA players.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, over there. Either. So that's kind of a roundup of the Olympics. We're excited. It felt so good, even though it was an exhibition game, to kind of basketball Twitter was back on. We were all gathered together. We were all one big family again, talking about good old basketball. Everyone was hating on Embiid. It was great.
Yes, and I just like I said, I love really good basketball, and so to be able to watch Team USA, just some of my favorite players, just in the recent
a team
decades.
Full of amazing superstars. What am I supposed to be mad about?
So beautiful.
Other than Embiid.
Yes, I literally had so much fun. Like I said, I was literally screeching on her couch,
and it's so fun, writing notes about it, because you just get the heavy hitters. So why is Dylan Brooks? Why is Embiid? So to wrap things up, a question that has nothing to do with the Olympics. I just have to ask. I asked this on Twitter once. I did a poll, but I always think it's hilarious when any of these things happen, and I think they're all very equally embarrassing. But I have a specific answer. So, Caitlin, what do you think is more embarrassing? We have a missed open layup.
Okay.
Ow. Ew. Ew. Missed open dunk. Double ew. Or an air ball. My opinion is an air ball, because no matter how often I see an air ball, which isn't all the time, every time I see it, I'm like, ouch, it never gets better.
Oh my God, for sure.
It never gets better. And that is super embarrassing to me. What do you think?
I think of those 3, the most embarrassing is probably a missed open layup.
Yeah, that's my second choice. That's what Twitter
just because
said.
Layup is what you start learning in basketball, and so if you're an NBA player, you do it 24/7, and so to miss open layups is always just I always want to punch myself in the face whenever I see a missed open layup.
It really, it's I want to close my eyes and be like, please stop.
Yeah, let us know what you think down below. I'm very curious. I would love to hear your opinion.
So now to introduce something very exciting that I'm going to let Caitlin introduce, because I know she's very excited to talk about it.
So, I'm just kidding. So, one of my favorite things in the world is sports, obviously, but I love sports that are just executed beautifully. And so something that I've been saying for like a long time now is like sexy basketball or sexy baseball or sexy hockey, sexy football, like
sexy sports.
Sexy sports. And I love it. It's like perfectly executed, flawlessly like finished. You know, it's athletic and fast and just, you know, a lot of the times there's like really cool stuff that you just don't see every day. And so it's sexy sports, and that's going to be one of our favorite segments. It's going to be something that we do hopefully at the end of every episode, every other episode, something like that. We're each going to come with a video, and we are actually going to watch it with you guys. We'll embed it in this video so that you guys.
I'm going to figure that out.
Yeah,
right
our
now.
Editing queen. And so we're going to watch it together and react to it with you. It's just, we want to post like our favorite sports highlights, our sexy sports.
Yeah,
it can be
week.
from any,
Good stuff.
Yes, it can be from any sport, just from the week and everything like that. And we want to share those with you because I just don't think that there's anything better than just perfectly, flawlessly executed professional sports at the highest level. It's beautiful.
Yes, ma'am. Said so eloquently.
Thank you. Do you want to start with your
Ooh,
or
mine?
I
get to start. I'll start because it was most
okay.
recent. So my clip is from the USA-Canada game because everyone knows how excited I am that basketball is back. So this clip was my favorite of the game. It is a LeBron James block and then a Steph Curry outlet Joel Embiid pass to a D-Book 3. And it's sexy.
Beautiful.
So
you're gonna watch it
sexy.
with us.
So we're going to watch it together. Here we go. Oh, rejection. There he goes. And there's Joel. He dribbled.
He did. And drained it. And the
Basketball.
block, RJ Barrett just literally like gave LeBron a block. Like he tossed it up, just smack.
My mom also loves blocks. She loves Swatson on the Nuggets. There's nothing better than a total rejection.
It's so beautiful.
And then a Kentucky Wildcat making a corner 3. It's beautiful.
It was so good.
Okay,
It was
should
just
we?
so good. Like what a perfect like
Perfectly
defense to offense transition.
Perfectly executed teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah,
and it makes for sexy basketball.
Sexy basketball, baby. My clip is actually baseball.
And it's hot. And I don't even like baseball.
She's not
Sorry,
like a big
Susie.
She's not a big baseball girly. But
I'm
like,
not. I like to drink at baseball games. Does that count?
Yeah, same vibes. But I really love like really cool baseball plays, double plays, triple plays, and everything like that. And the Diamondbacks had the most beautiful double play, and it just had like some passes and things like that, or like some throws that you would never like normally see in a game. So it was just so much fun to watch. So I want you to watch this because I have like already showed this to her once, and she was like, "Oh," and I was like, "I know."
I think I responded to it after you tweeted. I said, "Wait a second, am I gonna have to get into baseball?" Never.
I love this.
I refused.
I love it. First of all, did his bat just break or did he just throw it?
I didn't.
Oh, the top!
Oh, and he's out of here.
It was so good.
I love that they're just like high-fiving at the end.
Okay, so like watch this part. Okay, ready?
Slow-mo.
Oh, look at the dive. I know, it was so okay, so I'm not even joking. Like, sorry to the universe, but like jumping up from that position takes so much ab work.
Yeah.
And then to like toss it. Okay, what am I doing here? I don't know. I am baseball. But like toss it like that with your glove. Sorry, I'm a cripple, so that probably doesn't look very pretty. But like to toss it from your glove so effortlessly and perfectly to the second baseman. Ugh.
Period.
Sexy baseball.
What
baby.
did our hate comments say? That we sound narcissistic?
Yes.
I didn't know that voices had personality disorders, but
Well, he must be a therapist because here I am, baby. I'm just kidding.
All right. Well, that concludes sexy sports, sexy baseball, and sexy basketball for
and
you.
I hope you fall in love with it with us because there's just nothing better.
And I hope even you men who watch us start going, that was some sexy basketball.
Yes, there are people, and let me tell you, there are people that reach out to me all the time that are like, I almost said like sexy blank. like as a sport, but like I didn't want to steal that from you. Steal it from me. I want it to become a thing.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I want to see your sexy baseball plays. I want to see your sexy hockey.
We want to see it all.
Yes, I want to see it all. There's
Tag
nothing.
Tag us in on Twitter if you see sexy plays.
I love this.
Tag us.
Yes.
And
We want to watch it.
yeah, tag us and say whatever the sport is, sexy, whatever it is, and tag us, please. We'll repost them on our page.
Yes, and watch them very happily. It will just make us happy.
I don't know if this is a good or bad thing, but I feel like we didn't sing enough on this episode.
So just know that we will miss you.
And we'll see you soon
For an NFL preview.
Ooh, it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
Bye, friends.
Bye. And that's a wrap.